The following is a production of the Lakeside Chiefs Radio Network. Welcome to the Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clements. Your weekly in-depth look at all things Lakeside Chiefs football. We'll look back at last week's game and look ahead and break down this week's matchup.
35-30, 25-20, 50, 10, 5, gone. Touchdown, Lakeside.
With your host, Ben McAlilly.
Welcome into the Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clements. Coach, the Chiefs fall 50-14 in a loss to Fullington Academy out of Georgia last week. Just kind of give us your thoughts on last week's game.
Last week was tough. We knew they were going to be good up front coming in, and it's just one of those things that you can't really gauge it until you're out there with them live, and they look good on film, and then same in person. They just controlled the line of scrimmage, and that's where it's won at. And, they controlled the line of scrimmage. There's no other way to put it. So, and it was frustrating the fact that they put so many consecutive plays together each drive. It finally would eventually just wear us down, and they hit a big play, and we never recovered. So they controlled the line of scrimmage, and we didn't make the plays defensively when we needed to. Couldn't get any stops, and that's basically how the game went.
Just from my viewpoint in the press box, it looked like they only ran 3 or 4 different plays.
They did, and they ran a traditional wing T set. They ran the buck sweep. They ran the belly, and they ran the wing back sweep. They'd run the lead play with the wing back motion, and they had a cross buck play in there. It was pretty sweet too. That we never. I bet they averaged 6 or 7 yards per carry on that play alone, and it was tough. But with that type of offense, you've got to be disciplined up front, and with them having the strength and weight advantage in there also didn't help us either. But we just didn't play disciplined enough in our positions and within our scheme, and they just played better than we did. That's the only way you can say it.
Well, let's start with a positive. So, what did we do well last week?
Last week we didn't quit. I mean, it was obvious there. It got to a point there in the game that you could tell, okay, this isn't going to go our way. But we had some people step up and make some plays last week that haven't to this point. So that was good to see. And our offense we did move the ball. We shot ourselves in the foot several times, but it was really one of those type of games that we would have had to have basically scored about every time we had it, and never just hope for a shootout because we definitely didn't stop them. But we put together some good offensive drives, just didn't finish them, which is obviously the most important thing. And so they just won more plays than we did, and that's the bottom line.
Well, not to harp on the negative, but what did you work on this week in practice? What did you see that needed improvement this week?
Well, we've had to shift some people around and get people comfortable in some new areas. But, it's still offensively, we're still, the way that our coaches have everything set up, we're still installing a few things. And then it's kind of just stage by stage, step by step, however you want to look at it. So, so we're just, continuing on with that. And defensively, we've, simplified a few things with what we have coming up this week. Our opponent, they do several different things, which we haven't seen that the last couple of games. Both of our opponents the last couple of games just did 1 or 2 things, but this group here, we're playing Friday night, will do several different things. So we just basically had to simplify what we're doing, where we can adjust out of it and just try to minimize the confusion and where we can get out and just play hard and fast.
Gotcha. One thing I wanted to kind of ask you, how will the offense change going forward, having to move new personnel around?
Really won't. I mean, it won't really won't change much. Only thing that's really going to change is the defensive look we're going to get. That's really going to be the biggest thing. But you know, the way we've had things installed, and I mean, the offenses we're running, it's designed for any type of defense. It's not just, you know, a select front we're looking for or whatever. So our coaches can attack different looks from different ways and different angles, and they've done a good job of that with all year. Um, it's just like last week, it was obvious that, you know, our opponent had control of the game, but our staff put together some good drives, and the kids executed. We just didn't finish them. But so I mean, nothing's really going to change. It's just a matter of people stepping up and making plays, and you know, we got to go with what we got.
It's not really any secret that the aerial attack is what kind of, I'd say, your bread and butter is what we scored on the most this year. Does that change does it go to more of timing patterns, or is it still letting Trip Swain sit back there and read the defense and go where he goes?
He really does better with tag routes. I mean, that's just, and every quarterback is different. That's just the bottom line. There's no one is the same. He's a tag guy, and it's up to us as coaches to tag the correct route we need to get to. But you know, and a lot of our opponents, when we're playing them, that's the first thing they come to us with is the aerial attack this, the aerial attack that. Well, we've been 50-50 all year, and it's just our bigger plays have come in the passing game. But I mean, we run the football, and you know, we're still waiting for somebody to have that breakout moment with it, and I hope that comes soon. But you know, we're definitely, you know, we're a 50-50 ball team offensively, and to me, that's what you want to be. So, you know, we're looking for big plays any way we can get them, basically.
Every week we try to point out a senior or a player. This week we're going to talk about Brantley Weeks a little bit. Just talk about what he means to this team.
Brantley is a really good kid. Number one, he's a good student as well, and he's just one of those kids that you like to have around. He's a hard worker. He never misses anything. He's just one of those guys that's always around. He's where he's supposed to be, and he works hard. Never a discipline problem. Very well mannered kid. You know, he's one that you definitely want around, and he works hard and does the best he can, and that's all you can ask for out of a student athlete.
Understood. Another player I'd kind of like to point out, I felt like I called his name all night, especially when we were on defense against Fullerton Academy, was Brody Horn. He's not very big in stature, but he plays linebacker like it's supposed to be played.
He does, and just as I mentioned about Brantley Weeks, he's the same type kid. He's a hard worker, and yeah, you know, it really just like I just described Brantley and Brody. You know, if we get a little more weight on him, he wouldn't be a pleasant guy coming in and filling a gap for many people. He's not afraid of anything. So, but he's hard nosed and he plays hard and he gives it his all every single snap.
And that is good to see. Well, we're going to step away for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll turn the page to the Flint River Academy Wildcats out of Woodbury, Georgia. We'll be right back. This is the Lakeside Football Report.
This is more than a bundle. It's more than a combo deal. It's not just stuff. This is your home, your car. And you want to give them the protection they deserve. With home and auto insurance. State Farm agents get it. It's why they're here.
In Eufaula, talk to State Farm agent Sam Wise.
APEC Metal Express, offering quality service and guaranteeing to have the right parts and supplies. When you consider buying a roof or pole barn at other places, you make your decision based on a tiny sample. The warehouse at APEC Metal Express has an actual pole barn set up to give you a better idea of what yours will look like. This level of service is one of the things that sets them apart. APEC Metal Express, residential roofing, siding, trim, and in-stock pole barn kits with 16 colors in stock. 985 Technology Drive in Dothan, or call 699-5972.
He said they're press
Somebody
box.
cannot come to us, we go to them. It's something that we do on a regular basis, something we don't mind doing, and we work on a contingency basis.
No one has to pay us any money up front.
They do not have to pay us unless we collect for them. Unless we are successful in resolving their case through a settlement or through trial.
They don't have to pay us any money unless we get favorable results for them. If you're hurt in a car wreck, call Penn and Seaborn. It won't cost you anything to see if we can help.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Benny Whitehead Incorporated has called Eufaula home since 1965. Today, the family-owned business owns and operates 119 tractors and trailers and employs over 150 people. Benny Whitehead is nationally known as a leader in safety and keeping the air clean and fuel consumption low. Benny Whitehead Incorporated loves Eufaula and would like to wish Lakeside and Eufaula safe and successful seasons. Deloach, Wingate & Company is a professional certified public accountant firm located at 102 Riverside Drive in Eufaula, Alabama. The firm has been in business for 30 years and has developed a number of firm specialties, including individual, corporate, partnership, nonprofit income tax returns, individual audit services, tax compliance and consulting, single audits, governmental audits, month-end reporting, payroll preparation, quarterly and annual reporting, and other general accounting and taxation consulting. Please call Deloach, Wingate & Company at 334-687-2108 or drop by their office for all of your accounting needs. Deloach & Wingate welcome the opportunity to support all of our local and surrounding schools with their athletic activities.
Your car is one of the largest and most important investments you have, so keep it looking sharp and new at Impressive Collision Center. The family at Impressive has been in business since 1940. They work closely with all insurance companies or can give you an excellent price on your minor mishaps. Also, check out all of the accessories from installed brush guards, winches, and bed liners. Swing by or give them a call. Impressive Collision Center, 317 South Eufaula Avenue, or call them at 687-4400. Azure Creations supports the Lakeside Chiefs. For all your screen print, embroidery, vinyl, and sublimation needs, contact Azure Creations. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Azure Crafts and Creations. Email us at azure.craftsandcreations@gmail.com or contact us at 334-695-0643. Go Chiefs! This is the Lakeside Chiefs Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clements. Coach, you're on the road this week to play Flint River Academy over in Woodbury, Georgia. They lost 30-19 their last game versus Calvary Christian. They're 1-3 overall. What do you know about them? What do they do offensively? What do they do defensively?
I know they're a good football team. I can tell you that. They've played some very tough competition to start the season, especially with Calvary last week. Calvary just really had the size and speed advantage. according to the film. But to me, they were very well coached. They do a lot of things that definitely you got to stay on your toes defensively, because you can't just make any key reads, because they have something that'll come off of that and completely send you the opposite direction. So it's we're gonna have to really play discipline in the box, especially. They like to run a lot of motion and do things off of motion, do different things off of motion to just to really try to cause some confusion. And if you're not careful, you get caught up in following flow. Next thing you know, they're going out the back door and they're going down the sideline. So their record is definitely not does not tell the story of their team. They've just played really tough competition. And just like last week before we played Fullington, they had an off week or an open week before we played them. Well, Flint River also had an open week last week, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for us. So, but they're in Woodbury, Georgia, which is up near the Callaway Gardens, LaGrange area up in there, and it's going to be not too bad of a drive for us, but it'll be the first time we've ever played them in school history, and we're looking forward to making the trip up there, and it's going to be a tough game for us, and we're definitely going to have to play a lot better defensively. And as far as they're concerned, defensively, they're aggressive up front. We have several things we're going to try to do to try to take advantage of their strengths and hopefully come out with better results. But we just got to finish drive, and that's something we're going to focus on Friday night, and we're gonna have to play consistent. And if we go and play like we did this past Friday, it's going to be the same type result. If we'll go and compete and play the best we can, it's a game that we can win. So, it's just going to come down to execution and basically discipline defensively, and that's basically our game plan heading in.
What is kind of their base look? Offense? Are they more spread team, a I formation team, a wing T team?
They go from one extreme to the other. They'll come out in a single wing type look with about 10 in the box, and they'll run a split in out across the field just to run him out there. Basically, they're not doing anything with him, and they'll try to just attack you out of that. And if they have success with that, they're not doing anything else, because why should they? We've got to take care of that. And I'm assuming we will see that formation. It's kind of one of those deals like, hey, we're going to line up, and if you can stop us, we'll go to something else type deal. And if we can't, it's going to be a long night. So we got to take care of that, number one. As far as what they do with everything else, they will spread it out. They run a lot of GT counter. They run a lot of trap off the edge. They're good with, you can't, a lot of defenses will, if you're in the gun look and they have a single back either to the right or to the left of the quarterback, a lot of times defenses assume if that running back gets the ball, he's going to cross the formation. Well, not with them. You don't know if he's going to cross or if he's going to jab and stay play side. They do so many different things out of it, and we really had to work hard this week with staying at home. Backside flow, stay at home, and make sure we're covering our backside gaps, and just really had to really stress that this week, and especially watching film today, they got to see it, and it's a concern for sure. But and they'll get in some 3-by-1 trips. They'll and they're 2-by-2 looks. Sometimes it'll be a traditional 2-by-2, and sometimes they'll go in with a little tight flex type look. They just move them around, but basically just trying to get you to set up the way they want you to. And so we're trying to, make some moves off of that that'll benefit us defensively.
Understood. What do you think? What do you feel like the keys to victory are tomorrow night or Friday night?
Well, I've said earlier, number one, it's discipline and execution. You know, we've got to have somebody step up and make some big plays. And, you know, that's really with anybody. They're going to say the same thing. Discipline, execution, make big plays. So, and we've got to minimize big plays on the defensive side of the ball. That's just, we can't have that. And I know last week what was frustrating, I can think of 4 or 5 times we had them 3rd and long, and it's a first down and it's on the ground. You know, and then part of that was my fault for making a move I probably shouldn't have. But I mean, you gotta get off the field and give the ball to your offense, and especially when your kicking game struggles like ours does as far as, you know, net yards on the kick and that type thing. We're already, you know, in bad field position just from that. So we got to get off the field and try to force some 3 and outs and get the ball and try to win the field position battle for sure. And we did have a sloppy night the other night with the flags. You know, we had way too many, and that was definitely a concern, and we can't have that this week. And so just discipline, execution, playing smart, and just, you know, playing hard football.
Understood. I was going to ask you one question on defense. I know you're coaching defense this year in addition to being a head coach. It seems like several games we started in like an even front and then swapped to an odd. Like what is that based off of? Like just what you're seeing?
It just, you know, it will come out in what we think we're going to get. Some of the scenarios have been, and that's typical for early in the season. A lot of people are still installing, and so you may get a look that you weren't expecting. So some of it's that, and then some of it's just lack of production. You got to go to something else. You got to try something else, and unfortunately that was the case for us early in the year. I just, you know, if I would have come out in the opposite defense of what I started in, it may have been a different outcome in some of those games. But there's no way to predict that. But we've played better in our odd front. You know, we just don't have a true 3 technique and different things you need to really come out and play a good even front. We just don't have it. But we're good enough at nose to create some havoc and you know, keep guards off their pull paths and things of that nature. But so that's really been our best defense for us. But, you know, I mean, we are going to have to do some things differently this Friday that, you know, that they may not be expecting. But I just think for us to, because, you know, our kids are playing special teams, they're playing offense, they're playing defense. You got to simplify it enough to where you're still aggressive, but you've simplified it to where they can still get after it and not have to think so much. Because if you're out there thinking, you're not playing football. So they just got to make plays, and it's not going to be anything super fancy. And we're going to get out there and line up in our defensive look and go play.
Understood. Well, we're going to step away for another quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about some of the other goings on around the Lakeside School and some of the other sports. We'll be right back. This is the Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clemens.
This is the Lakeside Chiefs Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Lakeside Football Report with head coach Tom Clements. Coach, in addition to being head football coach, you're also athletic director. We talk about it every week. Kind of fill us in on what's going around campus and other sports.
Well, last week we had homecoming, so there wasn't much going on except for we did have some games earlier in the week. Volleyball played Monday, and we did have our junior pro and middle school games early in the week, and that was all we had besides the varsity game Friday night. And then here most recently yesterday we had Abbeville Christian come over, and we played them in junior varsity and varsity volleyball, and we played them in junior pro, and our middle school 7th and 8th grade team played their JV team, their 7th, 8th, and 9th grade team. So it was good to be able to make up. We've lost a couple of football games with our younger guys because of the weather and all that first of the year. So we were glad that we were able to work that out, and so had that going on. We had our cross country. Our girls won a meet at Glenwood, and our JV boys finished. I think it was 5th. They finished, so we had that going on. So, we're back in full swing, and volleyball will host Edgewood here tomorrow, which will be a really big deal for our girls. And that's one opponent that they're still trying to get on top of, and we haven't been able to beat them yet. And maybe playing them here at home tomorrow can give us a little boost and see if we can defeat Edgewood, hopefully. So then we could go to Flint River Friday, and it's just a lot going on. So we stay busy.
Exciting times around the Lakeside School. Coach, just to wrap it up, any final thoughts on the Flint River game?
Well, nothing really that we haven't talked about. We just hope that, of course, if people can't come out and support us there, that they can tune in here and check you out. And we appreciate you following us around, and we think you do a good job. And I know it's not easy, and especially up there by yourself, and it makes it tough. But again, if you can't come out and support us live at the game, to check us out right here, and just we can use all the support we can get, whether you're there or not. So we just hope we can go and bring back a win, and that's what we're shooting for.
Well, fantastic. I appreciate your kind words, Coach. Friday night, Woodbury, Georgia. The Chiefs are on the road at Flint River Academy. The game is at 7 p.m. Central Time. That'd be 8 Eastern. If you can't make it to Woodbury, you can listen to me live here on the Lakeside Chiefs football broadcast. I'll be coming to you from Woodbury. But for Coach Clements, I'm Ben McLilley, the voice of the Chiefs. My time is up, and I thank you for yours. We'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.